Hey, you're watching Rapid MMA. I'm Tyler. Let's talk about Andrei Arlovski versus Josh Barnett happening this weekend. Let me preface by saying this is not a technical breakdown. This is not deep technical insight by any means. This is just general thoughts and analysis as we look forward to this weekend. I'm really interested in hearing what you guys think about this fight more than me offering my opinion. I think this fight ends in a lot of different ways. I think it's a very difficult fight to pick. Up to this point, I've picked all of Arlovski's fights correct. I've got him all correct in his wins, and then as far as his two losses, I mean, who thought? I knew Overeem would beat him, and I knew Stipe would be quicker to the right hand. I think they've all been fairly easy picks up to this point, but this one I'm really having trouble with. I think by far this is the hardest Andrei Arlovski fight to pick because I see him winning, and I could see him losing a number of ways, and it really just depends on how he performs and what decisions he makes in real time. And we never will know that until we see him perform. And to top it all off, obviously there's a whole heavyweight aspect of this, and Barnett having 10 plus pounds on Arlovski, which, tips the scales a little bit in his favor, I think. So let's talk about Barnett really quick. Obviously, you'd think he'd have the grappling advantage. I also think that he might have an advantage with power and the clinch work too. I think he'll probably have a really hard time getting this to the ground, and if he does, I'm not so sure how successful he will be in mounting any kind of significant grappling offense, trying to get submissions. Andrei Arlovski's never been submitted before, and this might be the guy to do it, but to be honest, I'm not so sure he can. And I'm not so sure Barnett will look for that opportunity to submit him. If it happens, it happens, but I'm not sure if he's going to work for it. I think his most quickest and likely route to victory is to duck the right hand, tie up with Arlovski, use his weight to press him against the fence, and then just smash him with elbows and knees, manipulate his upper body, and try to kind of do what he did to Frank Mir. Because with Arlovski being the smaller guy, it might just serve Barnett better to just work him against the fence. And since he is the bigger guy, he could probably knock Arlovski out. And we know how Arlovski's chin has looked recently. I mean, if you clip him, he's probably going to go down, as is the case with a lot of heavyweight matchups. If he's able to do that, I really see Barnett winning this fight by knockout. I think that's the most likely way that he wins. I think it's less likely that he gets a submission in this fight, but how could you be surprised if he does get a submission? I mean, he's one of the best grapplers, if not the best grapplers in the heavyweight division, other than maybe Frank Mir, other than maybe Fabricio Verdum. So it's really hard to discount that. I'm not discounting that as a possibility. I just think maybe a little less likely that he gets a submission against somebody like Andrei Arlovski. I think it's either by knockout, and then I could also see the next most likely scenario, him winning by decision, because maybe he's unable to mount any sort of sustainable grappling offense, but if he's on top or he's dominating the grappling exchanges on the feet, that could just be him winning position and then getting that for 5 rounds, maybe dropping a couple rounds. But if he overall has the better grappling and he shuts down Arlovski's offense, then he could win that fight by decision. So I certainly see that being a likely scenario. It's either Barnett by knockout, Barnett by decision, and then maybe Barnett by submission. So that's how I see it for Barnett. Now for Arlovski, a lot of this whole fight really hinges on how he performs. Is he going to be able to escape off of his back? Is he going to be able to escape having his back against the fence in the clinch? Will he be stronger than Barnett? Will he be able to outmuscle Barnett with his athleticism? I think he's certainly faster than Barnett. He's got the faster hands, and he's got power too. He certainly can knock out Barnett, even though Barnett has a solid chin. But with the speed and his movement, and also I think the leg kicks would really benefit him, although it'd be a little bit risky to do it. But Barnett leans really hard to his left on his lead leg as he kind of steps in, throwing punches to get the clinch. So I wonder how he'll be able to exploit that, maybe kick the leg, move off, and then set up his right hand and land. I think if he lands a few good strikes, that'll back up Barnett, and then that's all Arlovski really needs to mount his offense as far as striking. And as we know, he has like 80% takedown defense, I think. So there's that. Plus, he's not so bad of a defensive striker, Arlovski, but that might just be enough for him. He might be able to roll with the punches that Barnett throws, since they're kind of short punches. He's not really throwing everything into him. He's kind of just punching his way in to get to the clinch. So he might have that advantage, Arlovski, of staying on the outside, throwing the leg kick, and then just landing the right hand. He's got a really nice uppercut, and if Barnett is going to duck the right hand, he might be able to just throw the uppercut and land on Barnett. So there's a possibility for sure that Arlovski wins this by knockout. And then there's the other possibility, if he's able to escape all clinch work and have the better striking on the outside, that he wins this by decision. So obviously I don't see Arlovski winning any sort of submission unless it's seriously him hurting Barnett and then finding something on the ground in a scramble and submitting him, like we've seen plenty of times in the UFC. I just don't see that being a likely way that ends, though. So Barnett, knockout or decision, and same for Arlovski, I think, knockout or decision. So when it comes down to choosing someone, I mean, just go with whoever, really, right? Unless you really see a clear path to victory for someone. I think it kind of weighs in Barnett's favor for sure a little bit more. For me, I'm not so confident he can close distance on somebody like Arlovski. I think Arlovski's speed is something that a lot of fighters have had trouble dealing with. And Brendan Schaub even had some issues with that too. And that was kind of a controversial loss. And his performance against Frank Mir was weird too. But at the end of the day, I think with the camp and the training and guidance of Greg Jackson, I think we're going to see still the evolution of Arlovski continue. I believe him when he says that this is the best he's ever been. I mean, a lot of fighters say that, but it's noticeable with Arlovski. But it all comes down to the chin. It all depends if he's trigger shy, which, he tends to be. And it all depends if he can outlast the grappling. And that's a lot of things to hinge a victory on. But he's done it in the past. And since I'm an Andrei Arlovski fan, and I think Barnett certainly has issues with some speed of fighters, I think I'm going to have to pick Arlovski here by a first round knockout. I mean, both these guys have an average fight time of around 6, maybe 8 minutes. I could see it going in the second round for sure. But since most heavyweight fights, they end in the first, I just kind of have to pick a first round finish here. And I'm going to go with the faster guy who has the better footwork, is not so stationary, and isn't hinging on the clinch so much like Barnett is. So I'm going to pick Andrei Arlovski first round knockout. If you are very confident in any one scenario, please explain, but I just don't see how anyone could be really confident this ends in one way for sure. I could see this going to decision, no doubt. And I could see either guy taking it. And I could see either guy knocking each other out. Because I think the clinch is really going to be the deciding factor of this fight. So just leave what your thoughts are down in the comment section. It's in Germany too. You always have to think about location with these kind of fights. And I'm not sure if one guy will have any advantage there over the other. I know Barnett has been over there quite often, and Arlovski probably has stayed in America more often than not. So leave your comments down below. My pick is Andrei Arlovski first round knockout. Tell me what you guys think. I'm definitely not confident in this pick. I wouldn't throw money down on this fight by any means. But if you see a clear-cut path to victory for either man, please explain that. Thank you for watching Rapid MMA. Enjoy the fights this weekend.